I'm doing a video every day because I'm testing social media. Testing it as much as they're testing me and using illegal assessments on me, on my social media, without me even knowing, which is illegal. I'm enjoying porridge at the same time. This subject is going to be highlighting that I've never introduced my housing unless it was anything to do with human rights abuses. That's the only time I had introduced my housing on social media, because I had no choice and because it was no longer the thing of the choice. And I wanted to find true witnesses, not more false witnesses. So I had no option but not to speak about it. I've suffered in silence for a very long time. And so this Samantha that came into my life on the 22nd of August 2024, that was a year ago, had come across delusional and friendly, but she would come out with comments such as, "You don't look that disabled," which is discrimination because obviously she doesn't know me. It was a first time meeting, which I thought was strange. And then she made promises to refurbish my bathroom with the surveyor. And they both made that promise or agreement. I can't call it a promise. And then they decided to send workers to work on the windows in the kitchen and the bathroom before the flooring, which was and that was obviously more important, to do a chemical clean under the vinyl and under the tray, which is what I requested. And I made sure it was hygienically cleaned before Grant Us a Smile came. I was the one who paid privately to remove all the rubbish from my bathroom in the flood situation, because they broke their promise to, and they overcharged me the costs to clean it up. So I found someone else which was cheaper. So she's a prolific liar. She is a pathological liar. She is a very bad individual who actually knows about the criminals in the loft, because she's unprofessional. She made me unaware of the fact that I had to remain in part of the single point of contact for a whole year. She treated me like a baby. So I'm an emotional baby because I have had a lot of physical pain. And I've been determined with all my strength and all my might, you know, the words might, strength, same thing, not to feel sorry for myself and not to come across as disabled. I've been practicing that. Because people abuse you when they find out. So she's an abuser. She's unprofessional. She doesn't deserve her job. She forced me to work with her based on disinformation. She refused to update systems when I told her to update systems. She can't cancel the appointment in January 2025. She cancelled it when I was about to give her the documents, handover, regarding my rent not being in arrears. So they forced me to go on a default, which is systemic abuse. And they forced me to not have the best hygiene for my whole body. However, I wash every time I go to the toilet until the last drop, wipe, and then go into the shower. I don't pee or poo in the shower. So they're evil. They denied me that facility. Even prisoners have that cleaning facility. And she's done it deliberately. It's all done intentionally. So she's the one who's antisocial, covered up and protected by her professional title. She's also very similar to President Donald Trump because she's always lying. Do you like my hairstyle? And now look, I have an antennae. And so this is abuse of power. And I'm glad I put it on social media, because eventually, even though I'm surrounded by the majority who are against me for no reason other than racism, they're bad leaders. Eventually I'll come across some good leaders who are right and who are going to be as true witnesses. So I don't know how the hell I'm going to get rid of this woman. A moth attacked her. I was sitting on the stairs and trying to relax. Then I stood up. There's no lift in the corridor, in the hall. First time meeting, 22nd of August 2024. So she's a physical baby. Carnal, based on the fleshly things and materialistic things. I'm a spiritual baby. That means never give up. So that's the difference between me and her. And I'm more discreet. I have more decency compared to her. And so if I complain, it may escalate and they may attack me even more. If I de-escalate the complaints, it's catch-22. They will still attack me. So Thrive Homes Housing Association is the worst housing association. I swear to God, as soon as I have the opportunity to have the strength and the money to move, I will move. Because they've destroyed my life ever since I moved into this housing association. Totally destroyed me. They're the participants in the altar of Satan. Satan worshippers. God says in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, you cannot drink from this cup of God and the cup of demons. You cannot partake with God at Christ's table, at the table of demons. You cannot do. She betrayed my trust. And yet I was forced to work with this woman called Samantha, who reminds me of Trump, because of the disinformation and blatant insults and lies to my face. So she did everything that is beneficial for her, but it wasn't lawful. She did everything to take advantage for her, destroying my tenancy, which was clean, and my rent accounts for not updating it to make it look like I'm stupid, I am insane, I'm not paying my rent. And so the test on social media is who is up top, who's going to phone Thrive Homes and force me tyrannically to work with her. Who on social media has the power to contact Thrive Homes and tell them what to do next to raise even more suspicious and even more unstabling my foundation. This is my home. I've lived here for 14 years. She's only been in the office for 2 or 4 years. 2 or 5 years. 2 or 3, 4, 5 years. She's not been there long. So this is the example of abuse of power. And everything it contains into their contract. They've breached the tenancy contract. They've broken the law, the building rules. And they've put the crisis and the blame on me. Oh, it's my fault they had no access to the property. Lie. It's my fault that my home was dirty and clean and not clean enough because of the floods. Another lie. It's everything's my fault. Every contact I have, they're looking to frame me and do smear campaigns on me and say that something I've done wrong. It's never them that's done anything wrong. So on the grounds of my conscience, I haven't done anything wrong. On the grounds of, as far as I know, I have had the decency to speak to them politely in most occasions until they touched a raw nerve. They refused to give me my receipt for paying a full rent. in May 2025. And it was tragic because I had no money left for food. They're constantly looking to exploit. They're evil criminals that should not be working in that job. Because they've over-criticized my home, my lifestyle. I had their boss called Adrian, who treated me like dog shite. How long do you spend in your shower, he asked me when he came to visit me. Are you damaging our property? You shouldn't spend no more than 2 minutes in your shower. Why do you have so many soaps and shampoo bottles? So all these questions are illegal and wrong. So it was all pre-designed, what they're doing with my shower, my bathroom situation. I know I'm hygienic. I know I wash myself every time I go to the toilet. And then I apply creams and oils. But most people, particularly politicians who are attacking me and who are kidnapping from me, not have the pleasure of seeing my daughter grow up because of them, destroyed my womanhood, destroyed my race, destroyed everything. They're the same as hell angels. They are hell angels. So for God's sake, and for the love of peace, I suffered. I didn't retaliate. I didn't argue. And they were waiting for me patiently for many years to attack, for me to put my guard down. And if I resist them and say, get out, I don't want you to come into my home to do an annual gas safety check, they'll take me to court. If I tell them to get out, I don't want you to come and visit me every year to check my gas and central heating is working. Instead, they come here and damage the central heating, which is criminal and illegal. But they've designed it. So it's an organized crime using professional uniform. I'm going to deliberately take their logo in purple and put it on my thumbnail and publicize their human rights abuses. So for 10 years, I had no central heating. I'm severely disabled. I was paralyzed, incapacitated, and all they did was spit at me. It was the same as being spat at. The shouting, the yelling, the cussing, this man called Edward Spencer, he said, "Your house is so dirty! You're so dirty," on the top of his voice, and it was a bold man. I told him to get out. He refused to give me your name badge. My bin man is on holiday. It's Christmas time. It's emergency. I have no central heating. Get out. I couldn't believe it. And it's not lawful. It's unlawful. And they do it deliberately to make psychological abuse, to make it similar, look-alike to my ex-husband. Similar, because he's a bold man. But there's so many other electricians who could come and fix the old central heating gas, not the water tank, this is the gas tank. But they chose him specifically to taunt me. They also had a political whore who's been stalking me and who has a boyfriend of a police officer, or his son, that came to live with me and is still here, dictating to my landlord what to do next, which is illegal and unlawful. I don't know who they are. I don't know who the hell they are, but they know everything about me. So they've added insult to my injuries. They illegally spied on me from the loft. The neighbours told me so. Not in a friendly way, in an unfriendly way. I reported it to the police. I didn't respond. I didn't retaliate and say, "What the hell? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" I didn't say anything. I just hid behind the curtain. The windows were open in the summer. And she yelled, "I can see you put your slippers on. And we're going to put you into the nut house forever. You're mad. You're sad. And you are a monster. So I've had to put up with this shite from hostile environment, from bad governors who are actually gangsters. They deserve elephant poo on their desks, in their chair, and vomit in their vagina, and vomit in his penis. Cut their privates off, because all they are is domestic and social terrorists. They've kidnapped my daughter. They've assumed the worst. They spread disinformation and rumours. They're the same as demons. So to unveil the disgrace that they've put on me, I have a distant cousin in Cambridge, but they had a funeral, so they are still grieving, I think, and they're still in shock because the mother died, my auntie. So I haven't told them too much. I told them a little bit. But I can't remember my relatives because I've had a terrible childhood because of my mother. And the government seems to think I should now suddenly go and move in with my cousins. It would be nice, but it's unrealistic because my mother would probably frustrate my uncle and my cousins so much they would be afraid to have anything to do with me because they've assumed that I'm the same as my mum. However, some of my cousins they're not convinced. They know I'm not the same as my mum. They don't believe in that lie. But there's also this jealousy and this envy and this rivalry. So I don't want to move to my cousins in Cambridge. But I do want to move. I'm not refusing to move. I don't want to move right now, but when I'm stronger but when I have enough money and it's very well organized to stop the stalkers stalking me as far away from Thrive Homes as possible. I'm not refusing to wear a hijab or a Muslim cloth over my head and hide my features if I was living in Islamic countries to show them respect. So that's what the uniform is supposed to do. However, there are invisible clothing on me through the Holy Spirits and invisible hair, so my hair is totally destroyed. You can tell how healthy a woman is. Look at her hair. My hair is totally destroyed. I mean, I've dyed my hair once, not to be blonde, but to have it had to start off as a blonde and then have a light brown shade in the memory of my daughter. So it's worse than death to be alienated from your child based on lies. If it was based on the truth, the fact that if there were facts and evidence that I abused her emotionally or in any way, then it makes sense to be separated. But since I haven't done, I hadn't gone and taken drugs. I was drugged pushed. I hadn't gone over to take nightclubs and things like that and dated lots of men. No, but now that I'm single and been alone for more than 10 years alone at Christmas, no family, now's the time for me to look for a lover, and the government has prevented that too. Because every time if I try using the dating agency, they would put a murderer on my path. So I can't use a dating agency because the government and the stalker is getting in the way, the troll. They've humiliated me by lies to say that other men had seen me naked. No other man has seen me naked other than my daughter's dad. He's the only one who has seen me naked. So all of these are lies and humiliations. This is a strawberry flavour. Apple. Real apple. Because all of this is coming from the devil, who is targeting me because of my race. So it is institutional racism. This is why I have this injustice. And to shut me up, they would shut down my channel. They've already started 2 days ago, in 72 hours or 42 hours. They've already attacked my password in one of my Samsung accounts. So they're gradually getting in, worming themselves in to shut down my channel, shut me up. I'd like to, at least one day, at least once a week, not use social media at all, not even touch my mobile phone, switch it off and put it away. When I know I have no meeting and no obligations for other telephone calls, I just put it away and switch it off. If I have got telephone calls, I keep it on. But it's the holiday season, and also during the pandemic, everybody used the internet. Why can't I? What's the problem? And the answer is, it's their ego. Go hungry. You're overeating. You're not clean enough. You're not tidy enough. Shut the hell up. Stop humiliating me. Get out of here. You're uninvited. You're not welcomed. Shut up. So I've asked them nicely. They've harmed me enough through these smear complaints. And court is a bad luck demon. It's a bad luck demon. So they actually carry bad luck. They're the same as vermin. So it's if they have the frog at the end, they swap and they become rats, which is nearly everybody that I know. I don't really know many of those who are sinners. The other type, the second type, which is the rat at the end that swaps with the frog. But they're false prophets. You know, the frogs. And so that means they're unworthy because they're guilty of being false, making false predictions, making judgments and condemning you before even knowing you. So this is the end of this is the double West personality disorder. And they have swapped, and switched. So it's not the case that God had molded them and made them. It's the devil that shaped them. I'm not making disputes. I'm just saying that the frogs who swap with the rodents, I don't think they can ever forget me, but I cannot ever forgive them. They've made an unforgivable sin because they bite the hand that feeds them, and they teach children to disrespect their parents, and they live abnormally. I normally just have one meal a day, and it's not what I'm eating. It's the fact that I cannot exercise the correct exercise and the safe exercise. So I cannot carry my heavy thing down there, and using my equipment down the stairs can make me fall down the stairs. And that's another reason why I need to leave. So I'm housebound. But for hospital and doctor appointments, I do go out, and I can have access to the hospital transport minibus, and also this is very great from the United Kingdom that they actually support people to go to hospital for treatments and be examined physically. And to make sure you have the correct diagnosis, you need a second opinion, obviously. So that is a way forward. As for is having that abundant opportunity to not only be stuck with one doctor, you have various different doctors that can see you. And also you could I could keep the same one consistently, and feel like I belong to a practice. But then you have a politician and the devil come into the practice, take the CCTV camera and watch me while I'm sitting in my waiting area, because they've told everybody that I was dangerous. They're totally cuckoo, insane. Where's the evidence that I have ever caused any public harm or harm to myself or harm to the property? There's absolute no evidence. It's an empty speculation. And it's insane. They're the ones who are insane. They need their heads examined, because they've already charged me for thought crime and had spread disinformation through a politician entering the practice, the doctor's practice surgery. So that has already happened to me. About 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. So that my body is supposed to be used in the way it's supposed to be used, not by the way some evil doctor tells me. So there's evil doctors, there's also good doctors. So having the ability to take care of myself when no one else did is also evidence that I'm mentally sane, because I've recuperated gradually and I've treated myself with the recommended instructions with the treatments for my spine and other conditions. But I'm also a Christian, so I have to discern the spirit, who is actually taking care of me, who's being honest and who's being dishonest. So if Thrive Homes can change and have better honesty as a policy, then I will feel less discriminated against. Since they don't have the honesty as a policy, they can possess and obsess everything about everything I have, all my belongings, and destroy it. They are untouchable. Cannot reapproach them. They have too much legal power. This is my landlord. There's no equality, so I'm concerned about that. There's no honour. They're always in greater honour. Oh, our staff, we have to protect the staff because you shouted at our reception. Oh, boo! See? So it's how they feel physically harmed. What about me? I shouldn't have to be shouting at them in the first place. They refused to give me a receipt for the payment I made for the full rent, and had no money for my disability money stolen and robbed by them because they refused to update the system. And it's like an identical twin. Whatever I've done for my wellness and well-being, whatever I've been through in my past, this parasite stalker has copied me and boasted that she had it better. She had it better than me. Excuse me, I didn't know I was in competition with a parasite. Can she compete? Can she have a reality check and a mental health assessment? This evil woman who's competing with me. How about we compete who's suffering who's suffering more? And I get really angry when they've made so many advertisements and so many support schemes for certain people who have a certain illness compared to those who don't, which is another idiocy through these bad members of staff and members of professionals. God has no favourites. Why do you say that this illness is illness? Why do you have to make a competition and a challenge like a pervert? And the fact is, they also lie about who's suffering more. They lie about that. They cheat about that. A pervert and obscurance of justice. No wonder they love Trump. They love lies more than the truth. But God says God is honorable through our virtues, their various virtues. I showed her utmost respect when she visited me in closing this video, this Samantha and the surveyor on the 22nd of August 2024. And all they did is disrespect me before they came to visit me. They had chats about me and said evil things about me I'd know nothing about. They've already made a decision who they thought I was based on a mental health assessment and some royal shite who's a stalker. So they've accommodated the stalker and they came to make me feel unwelcomed, make me feel like I have no family because they've separated me from my family, captured me in systemic abuse. This is all created by my landlord. They're the ones who contacted the judges when I complained about an evil black neighbour who was having African sex between 9 and 10 and 11 in the morning on a Saturday. And she was banging on her ceiling. She allowed her teenagers to have sex in the flat below me without any shame, while my daughter and I had to listen to their noises. So I put up the radio so we didn't have to listen to their sex noises. I wrote a letter to say, why can't they have sex quietly in the morning? Why do they have to make so much disgusting noise? We don't want to participate as a group sex, and I'm a single mum with a child living here. So he then posted that letter to the judge and called me mad. The evil judge then took my daughter away from me so they can justify the evil couple having sex, banging on their ceiling. Help me! I am a home owner, and I have a teenager who's having bonkers sex, and I work all the time down there, and she's completely cuckoo. I'm sure there's black people out there who are respectful and who are not mad, but this woman is a witch. She's definitely a witch. So she banged very much, unwelcomed us on her ceiling, which was my floor. Angel, how do you like living there? So they've insulted me, they've unwelcomed me, and they did not like the fact that I lived here. Ever since I moved here in December 2023. So I'm not teaching anybody how to behave. It's none of my business what they do. But if it is going to attack my privacy and it's going to attack my human rights, then it is my business. And it is my business to report it. And I notice every time I report an event, they automatically turn it around, such as Samantha and Casey last year. And also, so last year, it only happened twice, how they've done this. In December, it was in 2014, and they did it again in 2025. So these two times when they did it, turned the tables and blamed it on me. They would take me to court to find a way to demonize me, demoralize me, or whatever else. They've allowed an evil man who has military equipment to spy on me in the loft, and I cannot prove it because they're being defended and covered and protected. Even Gordon Ramsay and Hillary Clinton are probably on their side. They would kiss his ass. So Hillary Clinton and Gordon Ramsay are in a different country. They travel from England to America. But they probably know more about my landlord than I do. So it's disturbing. The same as Donald Trump, Nigel Farage, and all of these politicians, Keir Starmer, know more about my landlord than I do. They're chit-chatting how they can destroy my life, chit-chatting how they can destroy my reputation, and even chit-chatting how they can do a death threat cause a terrible bacteria. I've never had a disease. It's terrible. It's hate crime. It's opposite of love. It's constant crisis. It's constant chaos. And then when they come here to do constant inspections, they're saying I'm imperfect. How can I be perfect when I've got water everywhere and both of my bedrooms are flooded? How can I be perfect when I'm constantly stressed? They've put my soul to the ground level, where I have to sleep on the floor. I do like sleeping on the floor on a special occasion, such as camping and things like that, which I've never actually had camping, but not on permanent basis. I don't like to sleep on the floor. I'm not an animal. However, it's on occasions I'd like to sleep on the floor, but not on a regular basis. So I cannot edify anything, and if I have the authorities contact me to make a complaint, the more I complain, the worse it gets. So I have to de-escalate my complaints. But who wouldn't complain? Anyone and everyone would want to complain, sue them, take them to court. And I'm saying that I don't want to do that because I'm too unwell to do that. And they know it. They know I'm too unwell to do that. And this is how nasty and cruel they are. So I've completed my message. I've prayed about it. Say that if I can respect and treat them kindly, why do they make obstacle courses for me and treat me like a rat? Yeah, which is a death threat. It's an abuse of power. Yep, Thrive Homes. If I'd known somebody that could hunt the hunter, would I want to end his life? And the answer is no. Would I want them to have the same treatment as they have treated me? The answer is yes. It's only fair. But not in this day and age. If we didn't have a modern government and if we didn't have these systems in place, then it would be possible to ensure that I get my enemy to suffer the same as I have suffered. But it's not possible nowadays. And I'm just glad in a way, because if you die by a sword or by any type of weapon, it will retaliate. I just want to be able to die in peace and in happiness. I want to be able to die in peace and in happiness. And that's my ultimate goal. If they've blocked me in every way, I pray that God will make me faint or pass out if they touch me, or if the worst comes to the worst. I don't even know what the worst is. Actually, they are already using my solicitor, who is a trainee, to do something with the law to take me to court with Thrive, even though I don't want to go to court. It doesn't have to come to that, just for compensation. I don't know, I may change my mind and not have any compensation, just to shut them up. It's like saying to the robber, give me back what you've stolen, but it doesn't mean that the robber's not going to come back. That's the problem. I get my compensation only to get the robber to come back for revenge. So Samantha is a no-no. Casey is a no-no. A man called Charlie is a no-no. A man called Edward Spencer is a no-no. Nearly all of their officials is a no-no. They're the same as babies having babies. They're immature. They're criminals. Because they don't do their jobs properly. And because they've endangered me and caused me problems that I should not be experiencing. Serious problems. I said death threats. So this bacteria could become a blood poisoning where I could die. This is what my landlord has done, or they have achieved. And they'll say, oh, it's your fault. It's their fault. They approached the council regarding my rubbish services. It's their fault. They've blocked everything that was supposed to be done. They blocked. I finished my video. I'm Maya Maria Marina. I'm also known as Mima. After 4 decades of the old name, I now have the new name. I hope one of these days, I wish I could just pack up my suitcases and leave tomorrow. If I had the opportunity, God is my witness, I would leave immediately. But I don't have that opportunity.